Hey guys, I am the Basilisk. I've kicked Alec out of his chair in order to cast this match between Forsaken Empire and my dearly beloved Hidden Leaf Village Ninja Assassin Squad Esports, and I'm joined by Brett Thomas. Brett, do you want to run us through what these two teams have brought?
Yeah, certainly. Forsaken Empire have brought a comp we've not seen very often. We've not seen at all. They brought a Scimitar, double Navy Drake, triple Gila, an Oracle just sitting there on its own with a Hyena and two Hounds. Why don't you bring us through what Hidden Leaf have brought?
Certainly. So they've brought a double Lashak comp, and as we've seen these double Lashaks before, they need help getting on top of stuff, especially in the form of Drake Navy issues and Gilas. And thankfully, they've got a Sentinel of Vengeance, a couple Pontifexes, and a Magus to assist them in doing that. But they need to rush in and start applying these damage from these Lashaks before these Drake Navy issues can get away from them. And that's exactly what they're trying to do here.
Yeah, we're seeing damage spread between the two of them as they bend back in, but also onto Marcus in the Deacon. It looks like they're using some of the Drake Navies to apply damage to the larger stuff, whereas the Gilas are firing their light drones at some of the small ships that they can apply really well to.
But the two Lashaks are now seeming to be on top of Windjackal in the Drake Navy issue. So they're going to start ramping on him. They've caught one, and they're going to start pumping damage into him.
Yeah, we are seeing the Rook jam or attempt to jam some of the Gila, the Oracle, and the Hyena. Some of the small stuff to just limit the amount of damage to make sure those two Deacons can just keep things alive.
Yeah, for sure. And that the Deacon of Marcus right now seems to be absolutely swarmed by bots, and he's trying to do what he can and get towards Levy and sustain each other. But at the same time, they are both miles away from the rest of their comp with the Lashaks sort of in no man's land, and neither of them is really on top of Windjackal and the Drake Navy issue. He is entering low shields, and they are going to keep spooling on him and chunking him, and he is potentially going to go down very shortly unless he catches from the Scimitar. But in exchange, this Deacon of Marcus may also go down at about the same time.
Yeah, he just made the mistake of flying past one of the Pontifexes who just got a web on it as he flew past, which is why you saw his speed drop quite low and all that damage finally get applied. You're going to see damage get applied to the second Deacon now as damage is also applied to the Rook, and all of the small ships just start applying damage everywhere.
Yeah, it's these Gila drones on top of the Deacon. They are flying around and absolutely melting through him. Of course, 3 Gilas on the field, 6 extremely buffed medium drones. They are going to cause absolute havoc, and that Deacon of Levy goes down.
Yeah, it looks like the Leshaks are going to have to survive on their own, but they're well known for being able to tank everything. They are Leshaks and extremely tanky, and with a Rook on the field, they might be able to jam off enough damage to do really well here.
It's possible, but of course that damage can then just shoot onto Dreaded Vengeance in the Rook. Of course, once he jams someone with the ECM changes, they can still lock him, they can still shoot him, and he is taking chunks of damage in half armor now. Obviously, with no Deacons left, he's not going to be repping back up either.
Yeah,
Course, ECM ships want to tank from range and from staying well away from the action, but that's not really much of a concern coming up against the Gilas with their drone control range and long range missiles.
the Scimitar is about to get tackled. The Scimitar has been tackled by that Magus. You just saw it bend back in closer to get a little bit of reps off, and we saw the Magus just immediately realize what was happening and bend straight for it. It managed to get it webbed down. It's webbed and scrambled now. So we're going to see the next target the moment this Gila goes down is the Leshak's bend for the Scimitar, because if the Leshaks manage to get the Scimitar down, we hopefully see the match turn the other way.
Yeah, it's still very, very close because this Lashak comp, like I said, it relies on these tackle ships, the Magus, the 2 Ponties, and the Vengeance being able to catch things, and they are all still alive. They don't have the Deacons, but they do still have the tackles, so the Lashaks do still have the capability to get on top of stuff, although Baltram is taking chunks into half armor now.
Yeah, he's taking a huge amount of damage, especially because there's 2 Hounds left on the field that can just pump in long-range torpedo damage. They can just dump all that damage onto it that the Leshaks can't really bother with. They're going to have to get rid of their Scimitar and have the Magus and Pontifexes wipe them out on their own as they move through the smaller ships.
And they're trying to melt through the Scimitar, but he is still cycling his ASP, and he is still just about holding. But even after they kill the Simi, there's still going to be the same amount of damage on the field. And I don't know if, the Magus is going to go down. I don't know if Baltram's Lashak can hold that much longer either. And then without the Lashak, there's not much damage left for Hidden Leaf Village Ninja Assassin Squad Esports.
Yeah, the Scimitar looks like it's now free. We're now seeing it prop away, so it's down to whether the Leshaks can hit it before it gets out of range. We are seeing it take damage. It looks like it's out of boosts. No, there's just one just pop right back up then. Hopefully the Scimitar can stay alive.
Oh, he's really trying. And Baltram is really repping his heart out as well. He's trying his damnedest to keep this thing alive. But like you said, against the damage from these 2 Hounds, is an overwhelming amount of sheer damage just being vomited on top of him, and he's going into low hull now. He's about to go down, and the scimitar is still just about living. But even with the
Scimitar's
scimitar goes down, the scimitar goes down. But even with that down, there's still the same amount of damage on the field. There's still the 2 Gilas, the Drake Navy, and the Oracle alive, and of course the 2 Hounds, as previously mentioned, just pumping DPS into everything.
Yeah, we're seeing the
Primarily
heavy.
Beltram.
We're seeing the heavy armor maintenance bots just keep him alive as he finally goes down. We're now down to the wire. We're seeing a bunch of numbers of 098765 just apply damage to this Oracle as the smaller ships apply damage to the Hounds.
But now with just that one Lashak left, obviously they know there's no reps on the field. They know that Lashak is the only damage left on the field. So he's a clear primary, and they've got plenty of damage left to kill him. These 6 DPS ships, the Oracle is finally taking chunks. Perhaps a little bit too late. I mean, this Oracle obviously not a tanky ship, large guns, pumps out a bunch of damage from range. Ideally want to clear that kind of thing early, but they've left it until fairly late in the match, and the Sentinel of Nith goes down. I'm not sure if he was accomplishing too much. Obviously the Newt's not effective against these shield tank buffer boats, the Gila and the Drake.
Yeah, we're seeing the second hand of Victor Pup go down because of the drones of the Pontifex on it, but I want to see what this Leshak shoots before it starts to hit structure. Unlike the first Leshak, this one doesn't have many logistic drones on it because it was repping the other one. Now it's on its own. Its self-rep power is even lower.
Yeah, and it's going to really struggle here, of course, with only the 2 Pontifexes and the Vengeance left. The Gilas are just so far away from him. And obviously the Lashak requires to be in a certain range to even start its gun spooling, and I don't think he's anywhere remotely close to anything that's left alive here. So he's just going to get whittled down by this swarm of Gila drones that is still circling him. There is a lot of rep bots on him, but it's not going to be enough to keep him up for sure.
Yeah, he is bending closer. Hopefully, his answer will allow him to just buff up enough. You see all the drones that are on top of him. He's still smart bombing, so maybe he makes a mistake and smart bombs all his light drones off. But they're just about trying to keep him alive as he goes into structure now.
Yeah, and I think this is the end of the winners bracket run for Hidden Leaf Village Ninja Assassin Squad esports team. With just these 2 Pontifexes and the Vengeance left alive, there's no chance that they can kill what Forsaken Empire have left alive. And yes, it's a good execution from Forsaken Empire of this shield kite comp. We've seen it quite a lot of times today. Variations on a theme here with Gila's Drake Navy issues. There's so many choices that you can bring in this kind of comp. Altruses as well, of course, although that was banned in this particular match. But you know, you can mix and match these ships and make so many different variations on this same sort of comp, and they all seem to work pretty well.
Well, rip all 12,000 of my points that I bet on Hidden Leaf Ninja Village as we see the final 2 Pontifexes. Unless they can be a hero and defeat the entire comp, which I doubt, they are going to go down. And it looks like Forsaken Empire have this now.
Yeah, and this is, of course, heartbreaking to me as a verified Hidden Leaf Village Ninja Assassin Squad esports team member. I am now going to promptly cry my eyes out.
Yeah, we're seeing the Pontifex go down as they go for the barriers, as they go for the arena ship edge and boundary violating weird explosions.
That's it. That's the end of our winners bracket run, I'm afraid. But congratulations to Forsaken Empire, a good performance, and with that, we'll send it back to the studio.